Hello, everyone. Woo, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Freestyle Friday here on the Kim Jacobs Show. I am excited. Can't be showing too much stuff out to the public, okay? I am super excited to be on here with you guys today. We're going to have a great show. And listen, as you get different topics and things that you want to talk about, go ahead and type them right there in the comment section. And we'll get to some of those topics as well, because what's happening is you all are sending me some good stuff. You guys are sending me emails, texts, inbox messages with different topics that you want to talk about. So we are going to have a great show. I have some people working with me backstage that's also going to be typing in some of the trending topics as well. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. As you come into the studio today, type a comment, say, hey, I'm here. I'm such and such. I'm here. Well, whoever you are, type your name and let us account for you being here in the studio audience today. The show is only as great as you all make it. So today on Freestyle Friday is open discussion to talk about things that matter to you. So type those things in the comment section and let's talk about it. What's going on that's like in your heart, in your spirit, man, in your news feeds, in your buzz feeds or your TMZ feeds, whatever it is that you want to talk about is what we're going to talk about. And typically my friend Sean Hall comes on and she is always a breath of fresh air and has plenty of stuff to share. So I'll be pulling her in. Give me a thumbs up, Sean, when you're ready to pop into the screen and I will pull you in. I see you backstage. So let me know when you're ready to come on in. Okay, I'll wait for the thumbs up from Sean. Okay, so let's just start with some of the stuff that I've been getting. I actually heard this from one of my studio audience members. I have to look at my phone too, because people text me different things. So someone said that one-stop voting sites are popping up, and early voting begins from October 15th through October 31st. So one-stop voting sites. Anybody want to chime in on that and share some thoughts? Okay, you ready? Okay. Hey, Sean.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm out and about. I mean, I guess I could take off my mask, but can y'all hear me? Can you hear me fine?
Well, are people around you?
No.
Oh, you can take your mask off. Okay, wow. You can take your mask off then.
All right. So in full disclosure, I'm out and about and okay, you probably can still hear me. This is a whole hot mess. I am at Starbucks hanging out and people can come in the door anytime. So I just wanted to be prepared with my mask.
Oh yeah, just put it back on if you need to. Do what you have to do.
Saw how hard it was to get this together. All right, we're ready. Let's go. What's your hot topics?
Okay, so it's lots of hot topics right now. One of the things that we're talking about is the one-stop voting sites. And so one of my studio audience members had sent that in, and I actually didn't even know about that yet. So if you know anything about that or anybody knows anything about that, let's talk about it. I'll type it up. But I know anything to do with early voting, let's talk about that for a minute. How many of you know that it's important to go ahead, if at least this is what I've done over the course of my life, I automatically just try to go and get the whole voting thing done through the early voting process. And then I don't, on voting day, I'm not in that chaotic situation. I just like organization and balance and trying to figure out how to give myself some whoosh moments.
Whoosh.
Whoosh. What's your thoughts, Sean?
Hey, I think one-stop voting is great. Everybody has to know the rules in their state because every state, it differs. What I will say is that you're early enough in the game to go ahead and make sure you're registered. That's number one. Let us learn lessons from the past. When Stacey Abrams was running for governor for Georgia, and they had they kicked off 200,000 people, or maybe it was 250,000 people off the rolls in Georgia. How do you know you're actually registered? You don't. You don't know. You think you know. So what I would advise, and I don't have the site right on me, but you can Google register to vote or am I registered to vote? Google just that phrase, and what will come up is various websites that you can type your information into, and it will let you know if you're still registered to vote and what your affiliation is. That's important to do because some people are going to show up on election day, or they'll show up for early voting and they may not be registered. So this is the time to make sure you're registered. And early voting is what's up. You know, I don't know why anybody waits until November 3rd. Anything can happen. It might be a bad hair day. Your kids might feel bad. You might be sick. You might get there and the lines are long, and there's no do-over. It's not like voting day part 2.
Right.
November
Once
3rd
once that voting day happens and whatever goes wrong on that day, your vote just didn't count. So I mean, how important is it to you all as my studio audience? How important is it for your vote to count? Do you think that your one vote does make a difference? Because a lot of people, they don't know that they'll feel that their vote makes a difference. And I believe that every single vote makes a difference.
Every vote makes a difference. We are telling people to register to vote, and I think that that's important. I'm never going to tell anybody how to vote. What I will say, and this is probably going to be a disclaimer moment, that the views expressed here on the Kim Jacobs shows are those solely of the studio guest and not the host. Okay, we got that out the way. People who are kingdom-minded, who profess Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. I've heard a lot of Christians say that they're not going to vote because we don't have a good choice. The point is, Jesus Christ is not on the ballot. He is not. And so when you're looking at who you're going to vote for, this boils down to your quality of life, not just for yourself, but for generations. If people will look at this current administration and realize that many of the federal judicial seats, I think over now 1/2 of them have been filled by Mitch McConnell and his crew. These are lifetime appointments, and many people who are being appointed to the bench are folks who've never even tried a case. How does that fare for people who look like us? Not good. And so that's why it's important to get out and vote, because it's not just about Trump and Biden. It's about your local elections as well. When we're talking about Breonna Taylor's murderers have not been arrested right now, that falls squarely into the hands of the Attorney General. Usually someone who is appointed by the governor that you vote for. When you talk about charges not being brought against somebody or being brought against somebody, that has nothing to do with the people. I can't bring charges against someone if someone does something to me. That is solely done by the attorney for the people, which is known as the district attorney. Those people are elected. If you fail to use your vote, you're just as bad as those people who shot Breonna Taylor. You're just as bad as those people who make poor decisions and harm unarmed Black and brown and white people too. Why? Because you're not involved in the process. So that's all I got to say about that.
That's really good. Good. So, I mean, I don't have anything else to add, because that's such great information, and just, it should prick you enough. And I do share those views, by the way, that no matter what your religious belief is, definitely your vote still counts. And so make sure you put that vote in place. So, okay. So talking about some other topics, I know that Tiana Taylor gave birth to her second child in the bathroom of her home again, is what I've heard. So anybody want to talk about that? I mean, first of all, giving birth in a hospital where I had a scheduled time to go in because all of my children were past the due date. So it's like they weren't past the due date. It was right at the due date. But I had scheduled and I was going in and I had my magazines, my luggage by the door, organized, got to the hospital. Organized. That was a good experience for me, even though it was still, it's interesting because anytime you're giving birth, it's like, oh my God. Yeah. Interesting. But the thing is, I encourage people when they're going through pregnancy and giving birth. It is I think God does something. I personally think God has a sense of humor, Sean, because interesting piece is that when you're going through it, you experience everything that's with childbirth and childbirth, but then it's like God wipes it from your memory bank almost. And it's like, oh, I can do this again 5 times over. What in the world? I'm like, what is that? And then time I get back in the hospital and I'm in the birthing room to get ready to give birth, everything comes back to my memory. And I'm like, I didn't remember this. I didn't remember this until now. Then it goes away again. And it's like, I can do this 4 more times, 3 more times, 2 more times. Okay. So giving birth in a bathroom at home, that would flip my mind out. Tell me your thoughts. Anybody?
All right, audience members, chime in. What is going on? And Kim, you'll have to tell me what they're saying.
Oh, somebody said you're a superwoman, Kim. You are a superwoman.
Well, you know what? I want to talk about that because I want to flip the script a little bit and answer your question about Tiana Taylor giving birth at home in her bathroom, which I'm sure was not like a little 2x2 like many of us had. She had a palatial bathroom. It's nice up in there.
A birthing suite.
Birthing suite, if you will. And this is on trend, if you will, with many Black women, believe it or not, because the infant mortality rate for Black children is so high. Go and do your research, guys. You find people, not guys, what you find is that the care that Black women receive is so much less than that of our white counterparts, especially during childbirth. Many of you may remember Serena Williams having to fight for her very life because she, if I'm not mistaken, she didn't feel like something was right. And the doctor was arguing with her. Now, get the picture. You're looking at this young Black woman who is strong. She is doing it out in the court. So when she's telling you she's experiencing pain or what have you, you're thinking, oh my, it's no big deal. But in fact, it was a blood clot on her lung. And had she not been an advocate for her own health and had her bazillionaire husband there to advocate for her, it would have gone differently. So many of us don't have that voice. We don't have that status. And so what people are doing, especially Black women, they're shying away from doctors who mistakenly believe that we have this superwoman complex. And when Black women say, I'm in pain, they're like, oh, it's no big deal. Where a white woman might receive morphine, you're receiving an aspirin. And these are medically, these are facts. This is not like Sean's opinion here. And so what people are experiencing is an uptick in doulas, people who are certified to help with the birthing process. They are not medical doctors, but they are equipped to be able to bring your baby into the world. So Tiana, the first time she did it, I think they weren't making it to the hospital in time, and the baby was there, you know, in the bathroom. And she probably thought, you know what? If we plan this right, this can go a little bit better next time. So hats off to Tiana. I remember when she was MTV, they had a show, My Sweet 16, and she was on there. So
well, yeah, my hat's definitely off to her. If you could have your baby at home in the bathroom, you are truly, you could have Alicia Keys sing that song to you. You are a superwoman, a superwoman.
Yeah.
Let's see what some of the studio audience members said. My mom is on. Hey, mommy. She said, good morning, Kim and Sean. It's Friday on the Kim Jacob Show. Hey, mommy. Sharika says, wow, yes, it is important and to advocate for yourself.
It is. It is. And I just want to add something there. Childbirth is so commonplace that we don't realize how delicate life is. It is a life or death situation. I will never forget giving birth to our last daughter, Zoe. And I was a little weirded out anyway because the hospital was very quiet. They had very few babies. I counted them and I was like, where are all the children?
Where are the babies? I need to hear those bell ringing.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything. So it got crazy. And the woman beside me had her door decorated, you know? She had a big yellow bow on it. And I was like, where's my bow? What's going on? And the nurse came in, and I had the nerve to ask her, like, where's my bow? Why wasn't I getting decorated? You know, was I being treated less than? What I didn't know is that the woman lost her child in childbirth. And that was what they did at the time to bring a level of consolation. And instantly, I was filled with regret. I felt foolish for comparing my situation to hers because I did not know. And in that moment, I was reminded how precious and how delicate life truly is. So,
and that's, you know what, that's really a good thing that you're saying, because anytime we get the opportunity to bring a child to this world and be able to impact that child's life and shape that child's future and help them become everything that they're destined to be, because they're in our possession, in our care, lent to us during this time on this earth. It is a big, like, it had, for me, I can only speak for myself, it is the greatest joy ever to be a mom. I am so honored. It's not a burden. It's not like, oh my gosh, look at these kids. What? Are you crazy? I'm so grateful to God. And there are times that they definitely get on my nerves. Definitely. And but they're my children and I love them and I wouldn't trade them in for anything. And I wouldn't trade them for anybody else's children. I love, love, love my motherhood experience. And it's my honor and my privilege to be able to serve my children and to help them and invest in their dreams and invest in their goals. And I love it. I love motherhood. Love it. Okay. So let's see. Oh, I wanted to, these are just random throw-ins, but Naomi Osaka wears a mask at the U.S. Open in memory of Black people that were killed. In her first match, Grand Slam, winning the tennis, she actually had a total of 7 masks. The 26-year-old said that she was going to wear a mask each day throughout her time in these different matches. But the thing that I think I liked the most was the fact that some of the parents have now done videos to pay tribute, to say thank you to her for honoring their children. And so how did that make you guys feel, that someone 26 years old, she has the right to put what she wants on her own mask? And that's what she did. She was like, this is what I want to do. And her statement, I may not have it exactly quoted, but one of the things that she said is that if anybody watching me play tennis gets the opportunity to learn about the person that's featured on my mask, then I've done a great job, because I've heightened the awareness of that person's life. So I was just like, I love her. I love that she did that. Thoughts?
I think that Naomi Osaka is amazing. I think that people don't recognize the risk that she is taking. And because for many of us, it's just a mask, right? I've got my little white mask out here with nothing on it. But for some, for many, I'm not as well known as she is. And so for her to make this kind of statement, not just in the United States, this match is watched internationally. It's making a huge statement about who she is and how she identifies. Because while she is repping Japan as a country, she is a Japanese and Black woman.
Yes.
And so I think her putting this out there and saying, without saying, this could be me. How many athletes, how many celebrities have encountered these kinds of situations when people didn't know who they were right off, and what they realized is that what saved them is their celebrity. That is very sobering, and my hat's off to this young woman raising the height of social injustice in this country in a sport. Let's get the picture. In a sport where Black women have been denigrated for years.
Right.
And so I so appreciate what she's doing, and I just wish her the best. I'm excited to see what comes from her.
I'm excited as well for her as well. And I really didn't even know her story like that until she took that stand. So sometimes you even become more of a public figure and more honored and revered when you take a stance against something that I'm not going to be silent about this. I'm going to officially say what my stance is on it. So I really appreciate her doing that. And so hats off to you, Naomi, and I wish you nothing but the best in your career. All right, so let's see what's some other things that's happening. We know coronavirus is still soaring, and I don't see, I mean, the predictions and things with the number of deaths that are predicted to happen by January are out. It's outrageous in my opinion. So,
well, if you're going to bring that up, you have to bring up what bombshell just dropped. Bob Woodward, award-winning journalist, dropped a book called Rage, and it's about.
I knew you were going to talk about that, Sean. Listen, if y'all, as the studio audience, don't start commenting and saying something on this show, because Sean's going to talk about what she wants to talk about, which is politics. Okay, so yes, in the book, he has 18 different interviews that he's had with the president. This is all, according to the research that I've done, and I know you've done as well, and I've seen it on CNN. I've seen it; it's everywhere. So
it's confirmed. The president confirmed it. This is not fiction. He knew, and that you need a big shirt. Like my shirt says "Ring the bells, vote." You need a shirt that says he knew. For the 100, and I think it's up to 195,000 people, he knew.
Right.
He knew. And to me, that's treasonous. To me, it's an accessory to the fact. You're an accomplice with murder.
Oh God, please somebody type the views expressed. I don't know why I would have to say that. Shannon, type it.
I am not saying anything different than many of the political pundits have shared. Did people die from coronavirus? Yes. Did our leadership know? Yes. How do we know he knew? Because he said he did. He said, and I quote, "Of course I knew. I didn't want to inspire panic," end quote.
Well, okay, let's talk about that. Everyone that's watching, do you, as a president, invoke rage and incite this panic? Is what would happen if somebody, as the president, says, "Okay, this, and this"? Would that then get people all up in arms and in disarray? And now they're like, "Oh my gosh, the president said this. We're in a state of concern, a state of emergency." But then I heard the presidential candidate Joe Biden say that he feels the same way, pretty much that you do, which is that he should have definitely said this to the American
public.
And
when he knew, and so when you look at it, y'all, because this is laying out a case, y'all don't want to believe, but you can say, "I heard it from Sean." Listen, should this man get back in office, this could be terms for impeachment. And really, this is an impeachable offense, because let's dial it back. Before we knew about coronavirus, he had the global pandemic team disassembled. He was getting briefings as early as November, December 2019. Right. That's why it's COVID-19, because that's when it came out.
Right, I understand.
And so he knew about this. And so what he did was he played poker with lives and with politics, because this was always about the re-election for him and what would this look like. And rather than put the American people first and say, "Hey guys, there's a worldwide pandemic. Our predictions show that it will hit this country, but we are ready. We've got 15 million pieces of personal equipment." What we're urging everyone to do now is to start purchasing masks. Get the ones that are whatever, the K95s, the N95s, get water. And we want to ask you, get just what you need. We're not sure if and when this will hit our country, but we believe it will be so better to be prepared. Now, some people would have done just like they did with Katrina. You knew what the model said, but you were like, "Oh, we're going to ride this joint out." You see how that went. That was not good. And then there were people who left. And I know people are like, "Well, people died." Yes, they did. People were stuck in the highway for hours. Yes, they were, because they waited until the last minute. And this has to be a lesson for us to prepare. Prepare. Let's break that down. Pre is a prefix, PRE, to do before. You can't prepare in the moment. You can't prepare for a crisis when you're in the crisis. No, you have to do it before the crisis happens, because you don't know that it's going to be a crisis of that magnitude. But if you've started to prepare yourself, you can say, "Oh, you know what? Thank God the president told us. At least I had some masks on hand. Hey, I started to prep my meals. I got my mother situated." No, nothing could have prepared us for how bad this is. But we were totally unprepared, to the point where our president, let us not forget, in January, he sent 15 million PPE, protective personal equipment, to China.
Okay. Well, okay. So let's get some audience feedback as well. Let me give you some of the comments that's coming from backstage as well. Go, Sean, go. This is very true. He knew it and downplayed it. Exactly. It was planned already. Please don't get me started, Kim. Pre means before. Pre means before. Can any of you all backstage please type the views expressed on the show by my guest Can I need somebody to type that too, please?
I'm not
Okay.
coming on again. I feel bullied here.
No, not you. I do, Sean. I put that up on every episode, but for some reason, the people backstage will not barely type it on when you're here because I think they agree with your views, and so it's a given that it's automatically put right back here in the private chat, and I can grab it and put it up. So you never hear me say that on any other guest because it's there, and I just put it up on every single show.
Okay.
But for you, for whatever reason, I think they have an affinity towards you because I have to literally say it in the middle of the show. Okay, let's go to some of the audience comments. Sharika says, "I am not a fan of the president. However, I wonder if it was any other president, would they have done same thing to do not have the people panic?" So basically, what I'm hearing her say is that a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, I don't particularly care for this particular president," but what if it was another president that was in? What if it was President Obama or if it was President Biden or whomever? Would people still be having the same sentiments towards that president if he took this approach, which is, you know what? I'm not going to cause panic. Talk to me about it.
People would be upset with him, and we don't have to wonder what another president would do. We can look back to what did Obama do when there was the Ebola outbreak in Africa. I know that's a whole continent, and I can't tell you.
Right. But go ahead. It's a good example. Go ahead.
Our president was ready, and he was like, okay, we got some issues going on with Ebola. What are we going to do? And being ready is, I don't have to tell you every single thing that we are doing, but know that we have a plan. And when you had a man who came from an African nation to Texas, to be specific, and was checked into a hospital, immediately sprung into action. They knew exactly what to do. Right. That man did die. There were 2 other cases that happened in Atlanta, and they quarantined them. They quadrant off the whole wing in a hospital at Emory University. And so we don't have to wonder what would Obama or what would somebody else do, because we have an example. They stood ready, and they were letting us know what was going on. You heard about what was going on in Texas. You were up to date about what was going on in Atlanta. You knew what was going on worldwide with Ebola and whether or not it could impact us here.
That's a good example. That's a good example that you're sharing, and I do agree that he stood ready to alert us and educate us as to what was going on. So I do agree with that. The coronavirus cases, just so we know what they are currently, is 6,594,419 cases right now in the United States, and the number of deaths, which I don't like to just be like brush past it, 196,412 people have passed away due to this virus. So this is astounding numbers to me, that this many people have passed away, and the amount of people that have recovered are 3,882,000. Go ahead.
I want to add something about the recovery, because I know that I've seen on a lot of websites and a lot of Facebook posts that people say, well, nobody's talking about the recovery. Great, talk about it. Because the people who are recovering, what's not being reported is corona-related illnesses. I just read an article before I got on the show about a woman who recovered from corona, but she's now been diagnosed with corona-related glaucoma.
Right. So people are getting other ailments that are still associated with complications from coronavirus itself, but they recovered.
Right. I have a personal friend whose brother had coronavirus. Mm-hmm. He is a lineman, which is one of the people who works on the electrical line. So you got to have good hand-eye coordination. He has brain fog now. He's very unstable on his feet. He feels like he's going to pass out at any moment. And the doctor said, hey, these are the things that people aren't talking about. We're seeing a number of cases, and we have no cure. We don't know what to tell you, because he feels like it could be MS. It's presenting like MS, but it's not MS. So what do you do? Because people are recovering, and I think it's a false, what do I want to say? Like a false positive.
Right, false positive.
Oh my, people are recovering from corona. Yes, but what you don't understand is you have illnesses to come that people haven't seen, like the wildfires raging in California. What they're saying is that those small particles can get down in your lungs and
Right.
agitate your respiratory system so much so that it makes you more susceptible to corona.
Right, correct. Everything that you're saying is accurate. The citation where I got that information from with the recovery was from Worldometer. Worldometer. That's the site that I got those numbers from. Okay. Also, yeah, this was a big to do too about AstraZeneca. Didn't I think they recently pulled out of some type of thing because of because of the fact that one of their volunteers or someone got a problem. But I don't have the article right in front of me. I did see it this week, but I don't know all of the details.
They can Google it. The trial is taking place in Oxford, and one of the participants presented with some neurological issues due to the vaccine. So out of an abundance of caution, they halted it. And this is important because, again, this administration is saying that they're trying to have a vaccine ready by November 1st, but here it is, one of your main companies trying to produce a vaccine has halted them. And then here's the other thing that we have to talk about as Black people. Two of our HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, Dillard and Xavier, their presidents put out joint letters to encourage the student body to participate in clinical trials for coronavirus. This is causing a huge uproar because there are people on both sides. Some people say, well, for a trial to be efficacious, you have to have as much representation from different demographic groups.
You have to, and I understand that, because other than that, it's not going to be reflective of all different.
Right. We don't know what's going to happen. How will this virus be contraindicated for Black people? We don't know if you didn't have a trial. However, Black people are still mistrustful because of what happened with not only Tuskegee, but we're not even, who else? We're not talking about the woman, I believe, out of Baltimore. Is it Halima Locke? What happened? Harriet. I believe it's Harriet Locke. A Black woman who was in Baltimore, and at the time she had cancer, and I think it was cervical cancer, but here's the depth of it. They used her cells. They never informed her family that she had cancer, and they continued to use those cells again and again, selling pieces of it, profiting off of this woman's death. And to this day, I think it's Henrietta Lacks. To this day, the family still has not seen any monetary compensation. So when you look at all of these issues surrounding coronavirus, the vaccine, people wanting to get young Black people involved, as a mother, I would have an issue. One of my goddaughters is down at Xavier, and I immediately texted her mother and said, hey, this is an issue. But I have people combating it and saying, well, they're grown. And I said, anytime you have teens still in your age, you're not grown. 70% of the students who are in college are dependents, meaning that they need their parents' financial information in order to get through college. So anything that concerns my child, I need to know. And I think it's not right for those presidents to put this onus on these young people without saying, let's have the conversation. Let's talk about what this trial looks like, what it doesn't look like, even disclose whether or not the university is getting compensation.
Make sure you guys chime in and share your thoughts as well. What do you think about some of these trials that are taking place and preparing for the vaccine that's supposed to be possibly ready by either late fall, early winter? And here, the article that I want to share with you guys is it's in AstraZeneca. It's on CNN. They paused coronavirus vaccine trial after unexplained illness in their volunteer. And it says that the drug giant AstraZeneca said Tuesday that it paused global trials for its coronavirus vaccine because of an unexplained illness in one of their volunteers. And so they definitely, and there's a lot of quotes on here that you can go back and look at. The others to have a clinical hold, as has been placed by AstraZeneca as of Tuesday, because of a single serious adverse event, is not at all unprecedented. And this is something that Collins said, anyway, go back and read the whole article, but it's a long, detailed article as to why AstraZeneca actually pulled out of that situation. So let's go on to, so we know, billions of dollars have been poured in and trying to figure out a cure. And the other companies that are involved in the trials are Moderna, Casino, and Pfizer. And right now, AstraZeneca has pulled out. So that's important for you guys to know. Let's talk about some other things. Let's see what some of the studio audience members are saying. Sharika says, hey, what do you say to a civilian who feels guilty for playing it safe and feels compelled to returning to especially school? Teachers have died since schools have reopened.
Yeah. It's I think it is a tough place to be. And yes, this view is probably my own, but I make no bones about it. I used to be a classroom teacher and I taught math to 8th grade students while I had 2 young children at home and then 3 young children. And
Right.
what I can tell you is that while I love your kids, while I loved those kids, I love my family more. And my responsibility is to my children because at the end of the day, no school district is going to pay for your kids, your husband, your wife to continue living their lives. They're not going to pay your mortgage. They will send a fruit basket. They will send a fruit bowl, their condolences, and that's it. And my
That's
life
right.
is worth more than some nasty fruit. So I think if you need
I had to
to
look up to see. I was like, what you great do?
some nasty fruit, yeah. So I think if people need to stay home, then do that. And I understand, and I think people get this wrong. They feel like people who are saying stay home are independently wealthy. They're not. I know
Right.
I'm not, but what I know is that I owe it to my 4 girls to do everything I can to stay healthy and be here. And nobody is going to care about you like you. What I will say, and I tell everyone this world will go on without you, whether you're on top of it or up under it. It will go on.
I agree with everything you're saying, Sean. And so our priority is to make sure that our children are protected to the best of our ability. And ultimately, unless the Lord watch over all of it, is we're watching in vain regardless.
Yeah.
But he's assigned the children to our care and our protection. So our job is to care for them to the best of our ability. But since school has started, and I was looking down because you'll see I'm reading articles as well. Coronavirus, according to the Washington Post, says coronavirus infections are rising in children. And they said specifically the number and rate of coronaviruses in children have risen since the pandemic took hold in the spring. And then it's specifically saying that it rose even more since school started. So it's a major increase. I'm going to go to a different article because I remember it was an article that I saw that as the schools have opened again, what has happened. And it's been some pretty alarming numbers. Here, according to, this is actually a different article, but according to its most recent report, as of July 30th, there were 338,000 total child COVID cases reported since the onset of the pandemic, and that represents 8.8%. In 25 states, 10% or more were found in children, but the overall rate was 447 cases per 100,000 children. But then it goes on. It's a specific article I'm looking for. I'll see if I can find it before we go off of today's show. But there was a specific article that talked about it. Anybody in the back might be able to find that for me quicker than I'm doing it. But I know that there's been a significant increase in the number of coronavirus cases in children since school has started. And so that's the article that I'm looking for. If anybody, one of the studio audience members, want to look it up too as well. But let's see. And it was on CNN when I saw it. Okay, let's see what else is on here. Dr. Damian Hodge says the approach is totally wrong. But what you have realized is that Trump does tell you exactly who he is. I don't know any other president who has told the truth about who they are. He has told us and shown us exactly that. Is that a good thing, or is that I mean, I don't know what are you saying? Are you saying that you think that because he's telling us who he is, that's a good thing? Or are you saying because he's telling us who he is, believe it and get him out of office? What are you saying?
To me, he doesn't get points because he told you that he was selfish, because he told you that he's about his family making money. And the fact of the matter is, he didn't tell the truth. What he told you is that it would be America first. And it hasn't been America first. It's been Trump first. It's been his family first. That is the truth. He's told you that he cares about veterans, but in fact, he doesn't. He's told you that he wasn't going to raise your taxes. And in fact, that's not the truth. He's told you that he's going to put more money in your pocket. And what we really have to look at is who is he talking to? He's not talking to middle America. He's not talking to low income people. He's talking to his friends. There have been more people who have been made into millionaire and billionaire status since Trump has been in office. But we're not talking about millionaire from the ground up, like you bootstrapped it. No, we're talking about you were already millionaire and now you're mega millionaire. We're talking about you were millionaire and now you're a billionaire. So I don't give him any points for what he said. He is not truthful. He has played Russian roulette with lies. There are 195,000 people who are dead and in the ground because this president did not tell the truth.
Okay. So, and by all means, you all can definitely go back and forth and share your views as well. Here's an article that one of my teammates.
Wait, Kim,
that,
I want to show you someone. No, thank you. I'm at Starbucks and this lovely young woman, she just blessed me with this drink. So it's always nice to be nice. And I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being so nice. You're actually on the Kim Jacobs show. She can't hear you.
She got
okay. Your lipstick is on your mask. Turn your mask around.
Well, wait, let's talk about it. This is reality now, right? Every morning you start off with a beautiful color and then it all gets here on your mask. So
I know sometimes before I put my mask on, I just go ahead and wipe the because here's the I have to wash mine with the soapy and disinfectant because my lipstick is always on my mask, which is ridiculous. I can't take.
Why do we wear the lipstick anyway? Right?
I know. So I take the lipstick off before I even get in the car now. It's no need to have it on. Does anybody else experience that when it comes to your makeup, your lipstick getting on your mask, and especially if it's a N95? And even talking about that for a second, how do you feel about these N95 masks? Can I catch a good deep breath in my N95 mask? But then,
I love them.
Then the blue, I know that's an N95, but then the blue ones is like, is it enough protection from what's happening out in the environment? I don't know.
I think it's about the shape. Like this one, yes, you have a bird beak, if you will, but I feel like you can hear me well. So when people have this kind of mask on and they take it off, I think it's just for vanity because you go old school and you project your voice. That's what they told you in school.
Right.
But this allows you to breathe like I'm breathing in and letting out. This is a good one. The blue ones, I feel like it's better than nothing.
Right.
But these masks have gotten so cheap now. And I think people, again, I feel like every time I get on your show, it's such an honor to be able to speak to the people. I want to just continue to say, y'all, don't let your guard up. While these masks are cheap, go and get some more. We're seeing in China and in Japan, there is a resurgence of COVID. We are not on wave 2. This is still wave 1. And so
this is good. This is good feedback that you're giving.
Yeah, stay prepared. Get these masks. Get them for the elderly people. Stay on your toilet tissue. If you are getting water, maybe switch over to the delivery service so you don't have to keep going and getting pallets and that kind of thing.
Right.
But please stay on your guard. Don't let anybody down talk you and what this situation is.
Great. This is good, Sean. Sharika said, Ms. Sean, you're making great points regarding like health transparency and all of the things that you were sharing. I agree.
Thank you, Sharika.
She said 100%. Lady Justine Hillier said fact. And people are just chiming in a lot on what you're sharing. Let's see. And it's different articles that are being placed in the comment section. So make sure you guys go and check those out. And those are about the statistics with the increase and rise and the number of COVID cases amongst children since school has started. So keep that in mind. Yes, all over my lipstick is all over my mask. Yes. And yes, I have to wear a black mask because all of the other ones show my makeup. Yes.
I know. I was going to say this. When we get off, I'm going to place a link in the comments. I know that people are looking for jobs and remote ones, and somebody hit me to a website. I'm sorry, it's a Google Doc that's operated by some organization. It's updated every 5 minutes, and it's got remote jobs all around the country. So I'm going to
please put that in here.
And I pray that somebody gets a job from it. And if you do, come back and let us know and tell them that it's the Kim Jacobs Show.
Yes, please share your testimony on the Kim Jacobs Show if you get a virtual job from the link that Sean will put in the comment section. Okay, so what are your views? Are you all wearing your mask still, or are you not wearing your mask? What's going on with that? Because some people are like, I'm not wearing a mask regardless. And I see people out, and I don't say anything to anybody because I can see that there are a lot of altercations taking place too when people approach people. I see all of the videos where some people are getting killed over just a mask confrontation. That's crazy. Wear your mask, don't wear your mask. I'm not saying a word to you, but I just have mine. I keep mine on, you know.
Can we go deep though? Can we just talk about it for 2 minutes?
We can, but let me do this before we go deep. Let me say this. If you have not, since we're talking about masks, I want to make sure that you guys know that the Gabe Card 5K walk is coming up on Saturday, September 26th. And it's a virtual walk this year. So 5K walk is virtual for Gabe's Heart Foundation. You can go to gabesheartfoundation.org. And what that is it's in honor of my 12-year-old son, Gabriel Michael Jacobs. And yes, I know he's still in my cloud of witnesses, watching down and smiling from heaven. I believe that with my whole heart. So let's make a great event take place. The proceeds, what we do is we do a week. Well, every week I actually do something. Every single week I do a Doing It Gabe's Way random act of kindness. But with the funds that you all give for the 5K walk, I'll do larger scale random act of kindness called Doing It Gabe's Way. I'll take you. Let me share with you where you go because I want you to see what you can get for your registration. Any amount will register you. So just go and register for any amount. And wait a minute. Let's go here. Oh, let me go back for a second. I'm going to take you back. There it is. So you go right to gabesheartfoundation.org, and right there on the home page, you'll see right when you click there, register for this year's virtual 5K walk. If you're a sponsor, hit donate now. If you're a sponsor and you want to be placed on the back of the t-shirt, you'll hit donate now, donate your sponsorship amount, and then email me your logo so that your logo can get placed on the t-shirt. And I need you to do that kind of quickly because I'm placing the order this weekend. Now, if you're just being a registrant, go right here to register here. And down here, it starts at 8 a.m., the virtual walk via Zoom. If you want to participate in the Zoom walk, all you're going to do is register with any dollar amount. We'll send you the link, and then you'll be walking with all of us from 8 to 9. If you want to send your own video in or your own photos in of you and your family walking, just hashtag Doing It Gabe's Way, and we'll put that on Gabe's Facebook and social media pages. The t-shirts are $20 and the masks are $15. Since we were talking about masks, I thought I'd tell you. This is what the Gabe's Heart Foundation 5K mask will look like. The t-shirts, these are just samples. This is not the color of the actual t-shirt. But go ahead and register today. And I am excited about that. And I hope to see you at the virtual 5K walk. Go ahead, Sean. Say what you were getting ready to get deep about.
You know, this is not just about people.
Wait, talk. You can't talk any louder? Project.
I was going to, but it's so hot outside. You have to outside. But, all right, I'm going back outside so I can be free. Yeah,
okay, well, while she's getting ready to go back outside.
I'm here.
Go.
Okay. Let's be honest, right? This is not just about wearing masks. It's not. This is about people not wanting their rights to be taken away. And what I'm about to say, some people are going to be upset because you think this is not true and, you just want to have your rights. There were many years in this country where Black people did not have rights. And even to this day, the rights that we should have to be able to assert yourself, to advocate for yourself, we don't have. And what you see is that there is a retaliation, mainly by white men, a lot by white women. You don't want to be told what to do. This is not about your freedom. This is not about big government coming in and just putting the kibosh down. This boils down to people not wanting to be told what to do.
Right.
And not wanting to follow direction because you haven't had to. And so when we talk about white privilege, this is the essence of it. Being willing.
But a lot of white people wear masks. So I don't know when you're saying
yes,
white privilege. I see a lot of white people with masks on.
Let me go back to it. The majority of people who are protesting and saying that they should not have to wear a mask are white. That doesn't mean that there aren't white people who are wearing masks. Who are wearing the mask. There are plenty who are.
Because I see white and black people not wearing masks. Period.
Yes, I've seen people not wear their mask. I've not seen any, and there could be. So I'm not going to say that there are no black people. What I see in the forefront for people who are advocating for their right to not have to wear a mask, who are saying that it is un-American, who are saying that their rights are being impugned, are not people who look like us. And so when I look at that, and people are wondering, what is this conversation about white privilege? It's not saying that you've had a silver spoon in your life and that you've had the leg up. It's saying that you've had the opportunity to dissent, the opportunity to do things other than what is the norm and not be questioned about it. Because if we're only talking about masks, look at what happened in New York when there was a gathering and people were out in the park and the police were out in mass arresting people, throwing them to the ground. Right. Not having the mask on. And yet in the same city in New York where white people were gathering, the police were there passing out masks. And people were like, no, that's okay. And they're like, oh, okay. What is that? And there are a million excuses that people could come up with, but the essence of it is what we see every day. It's something about this skin tone that invokes a hatred. And we're seeing that more and more come out with this coronavirus. And my sincere prayer is that we finally get to the root of this disease, because it doesn't just impact Black people, it impacts all of us.
Yeah, it does. And I agree with you. And if the sooner we can get a handle on that all of us matter, and our lives matter, and our health matters, everything. And I do believe, now I really do believe that Black lives matter. Period. Exclamation point. That's its own standalone situation. But then when you hear people say, well, all lives matter. And my thought on that is that all lives can't matter without Black lives also mattering. So together, in order for all lives to matter, all lives have to matter, meaning every single nationality. Latino lives matter, Asian lives matter. Every life matters in order for all lives to matter. And so that's just my own take.
And asserting that one life matters while you're not asserting that for another doesn't mean that I don't believe that. I don't feel that Black lives are more important than white lives, are more important than Asian lives or anything else. As a Black woman, the only life I can live is life as a Black woman. So
that's the only life you ever will live, but that's every person. And that's why you've seen police officers that have come forward and did videos to say they actually do videos where they're in their plain clothing. And then they're like, I was a Black man or I was a Black woman before I was ever a police officer. And in different instances, they've also had some situations, and they share those on different videos that are on YouTube. I have to give a shout out to my sponsor for today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Today's episode is brought to you by Raphael Dejean, and he is actually a John Maxwell certified team member. Now, what he does is lots of different trainings as a certified coach, teacher, trainer, and speaker with the John Maxwell team. You can reach him at 214-498-4352. 214-498-4352. Now, he'll help you with mastermind groups, speaking and workshops, coaching services, as well as help you develop a leadership assessment. You definitely want to reach out and let him know that the Kim Jacobs Show referred you. 214-498-4352. Thank you so much, Raphael Dejean and the John Maxwell team, for sponsoring today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. I've asked my team members backstage to please type this comment. I've asked probably about 30 times. I mean, it's the first time in the whole history of the show that I cannot get. The views expressed by my guest are not
She
necessarily.
said it 50 times. We get it. They get it. We heard
Can
it.
you
We
please
know.
type that somebody backstage so I can put that up. The other
Can
thing
I
I'll
say
let you
this?
guys know right quick too is that I am at 700 subscribers, and for me, that's huge. I'm so excited. I don't take anything for granted.
You're
So
300 away from
300 away from 1,000 on YouTube. Guys, take a moment today after today's show and just go and subscribe. Click that subscription button. Click, click, click. Turn on your notifications. When you turn on the notification bell, hit all. Then guess what? Every time the Kim Jacobs Show is on the air, you get alerted. You will get an alert. Okay?
You know what we didn't discuss?
What?
Do you know what today is?
Go ahead.
It's 9/11.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would be remiss to not take a moment and say that we are still grieving the loss of life. Almost 3,000 people from all over the world who are working at the World Trade Center.
Yes.
And on September 11th, I think that was, what was that? 2001? 2001. You know, I remember that day. It's like one of those watershed moments, like, where were you? And I remember working for the Department of Education. I'd just gone downstairs to go get breakfast, and we had TV monitors up, and I was watching, and I saw a plane flying to a building. I thought, these guys cannot fly. That's crazy. And I went on and got breakfast, and I came back, and I saw another plane crash. As soon as it happened, the alarm bells were going off in the building. Listen, that moment taught us a lot about leadership, because I think it was Sharika who was asking about other presidents. And I remember distinctly President George Bush being in a classroom with children. And when his aide walked in briskly and whispered over in his ear, you could see his pallor change.
Yes.
But you know what? That man kept it together.
Yes, he did.
He addressed this issue head on, and he pulled no punches. We'd never seen anything like that on U.S. soil. And
that's right.
You know, I remember just the hours of agony, of just not knowing.
Yeah.
And a crazy fun fact, I remember Nextel. Who remembers that Nextel was it was like a little walkie-talkie?
Right.
Those phones were the bomb, because everywhere the phone lines were out, but my husband and I were still able to communicate because we had the walkie-talkies. I wish they had those again, because I got a feeling that it's going to be necessary, that we're going to have to be thinking about alternative ways to stay in contact with each other.
That's important too, Sean, because my husband was actually there. He was in New Jersey, right across the bridge on that day. And when it came up on CNN, they ended up renting a car and driving. It was crazy. Something out of like some out of sci-fi movie is what, but it was real lives. And so today we definitely want to remember everyone that passed away during September 11th incident. And we're praying for your families, praying for you as you continue to live this life, knowing that your family died in that very tragic way. But it just changed our whole world. It changed. We saw the vulnerability of how we are as a country. And so I definitely appreciated how the president at that particular time handled communicating everything to us. So remember 9/11, my home city, New York, was attached, praying for those who lost their lives and their loved ones. And the attack, yes, that was a attack we'll never, ever forget. All right, guys, listen, we know I'll share with you guys too some other things happening, but we're going to go ahead and get ready to bring today's episode to closure. Sports, you might want to check out the fact that Tyson and Roy Jones are going to be fighting on 11/28. So that's happening. So you get to hear it here on the Kim Jacobs Show, and it's been already announced. And it's a lot of other stuff that's happening as well. Niecy Nash, you know, she married a woman, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Yes, she did. So
we don't know. Did she? Did she?
She, according to all of the TMZ reports and stuff, she did. But anyway, a lot of other things. But remembering again, 19 years since the September 11th attack, which happened in 2001. And so as we close out today's show, I want to encourage you to love on your loved ones that are here on this earth.
Yeah.
treat them like it's the last day that we will ever see them, because we don't know if it's our last day. One of my assistants in the back, Mackenzie, said, "Hey, I was only 6 months old when this happened."
Wow.
She was
I
6
feel
months
anxious.
old. She's now
Jesus.
19 years old. We all need to stay together when yeah, okay. I see you, Shannon. So listen, make sure you love the people that are right here on this earth with you, that you can see, you can touch, you can feel every single day. Let them know how important they are to you, how needed they are, how relevant they are, how loved they are. Make sure you do that. And life is short, so don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. Tomorrow,
That's right.
guys, I'll be speaking for an event at 9:00 a.m. and it's a
Ooh.
women's willing workers conference with the Church of God in Christ, and I will definitely put the information on my Facebook page, so you'll be able to see it on the Kim Jacobs Facebook page if you'd like to be a part of that virtual conference. And then I also speak again on September 16th for another conference, and I'll be talking about how to be bold and balanced, how to balance life during chaos.
I love
We're going to be talking about a few topics that I hopefully can shed some light on for you. So be sure to check out my social media pages so that you can be a part of some of those virtual conferences tomorrow and September 16th. Monday, final announcement, and we're going to click off. Sean, you have anything else you want to say before I make this final announcement?
Nah, I'm gonna save it down the road. Yeah, save it.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll say no, I can't help it. I want some people, if you can, I want to plan a huge virtual graduation party. We thought that 2020 was bad for those students who were graduating, and we thought that, this year's class, the class of 2021, wouldn't have to face that, but they do. And so I think that we should rally to do something super special virtually, and for our high school seniors and for our college seniors. And this year is a pretty special one. And as we get closer to the day, I'll tell you why. But if you're interested in helping me to plan this virtual graduation celebration, drop graduate in the comments and we will link up.
Okay, so type graduate if you want to help. So graduate. And then people are also saying, please go back and share those remote jobs as soon as possible. So she'll put that on my Facebook page. If you're watching, I know it's a lot of people watching on like 8 different platforms, but on the Kim Jacobs Facebook page is where Sean Hall will put the actual virtual jobs. Okay. And I want to let you guys know on Monday at 11 o'clock, it's the redemption of the Black man part 3. We have a few police officers that will be on, as well as my brother, Javon Jackson, who spearheads that panel. And he actually pulls together a nice group of African-American men that's going to be talking about a solution between the police and the Black man. So that's what's going to be talked about on Monday at 11 o'clock a.m. Tell your friends, your family, your coworkers. Go ahead and tell people to subscribe so they don't miss out when we come live. All right. Wow, I think we got a lot accomplished. I mean, I still have a lot more notes, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and get ready to disconnect. Thank you all for everyone that's backstage helping me. Thank you to the viewers that's making this great show, the Kim Jacobs Show, possible. I truly appreciate you. Truly appreciate you. Thank you, Sean, my bestie, for coming on here and making Freestyle Friday phenomenal. Have a great day, everybody. See you Monday.